Hi. First of all, I would like to thank the SteelOrbis organization for inviting us for the speech. And also thank you very much for listening. Before starting the presentation about Chinese market, I would like to also give some brief information about our group of the companies. As CIEC, we are the government company. The market share or the share in the company is 51% of the government. And the company established in 1997. And in 2020, the revenue of the company is $22 billion. And 2021 is the $25 billion. And we are a CIEC. Since last 6 consecutive years, we have chosen in the steel trade industry as a top 2 companies. And in China, we are the biggest steel exporter. Roughly, we've been representing in the export, in the total Chinese export, about 6.1%. And we are also in the crude steel business, oil business. We are ranking in the top 3 in China. And in rubber, we are in the top 1 in China. And the cotton sector also, we are top 3 in China. We have 30 branches in the 30 different cities in China. And we have about 15 branches in overseas offices. So those are the offices that are located in the world. Now, I would like to start the analyzing the Chinese market. But before starting the China market, first of all, what I believe that we need to understand the first, I'm not going to tell the letter, but this first symbol. This symbol is Zhong. The second one is the Guo. So which means Zhongguo is China. So which is related to also our steel business as well. Here, the government, centralized government, and taking the decision also deeply is affecting our steel business. If you want to give the example, in 2021, in April, we have clearly seen that the rebate cancellation, which have already affected our steel business globally, and also some removing the import taxes. And also real estate. When we look at the real estate in China in 2022, especially, we have started to see some negative signals, especially in the second quarter of 2022. Then the Chinese government made an announcement and saying that they will not finance further, especially for the debt-ridden real estate companies anymore. So, which is accelerate the real estate sector negatively. And the real estate sales have started to fall in the lowest since last 16 years. And especially real estate sales fell to down record low in April 2022. And the decrease was 46.6%. The main reason is the lack of the new housing due to the effect of the COVID, and also some interrupted constructions, and also difficulty to get in the loans from the bank. And we clearly see that the purchase intention from the buyer, it keeps on delaying. When we look at the capacity utilization rate in China, in 2019, the utilization rate was 80%. In 2020, it's 78.80%, and 2021, 79%. And in the beginning of 2022, from January to March, was 79%. And the scrap usage in this steel, the total steel, crude steel production in China is in 2019, and when we see the crude steel production was 996 million ton, and out of 996 million ton, 103 million ton was the scrap usage, which is referring 10.34%. And also in 2020, the scrap usage was 8.57%. And the scrap, total scrap that it used is 90 million ton out of 1,050 million ton of crude steel production in China. In 2021, also we have seen that the crude steel, the scrap usage in the crude steel was 10.68%. So compared to rest of the countries, including Turkey and European countries, the usage of the scrap percentage in 28 European countries about 55%, in US about 70%, Japan is about 35%, Russia is about 45%, Turkey is about 85%, and South Korea 40%, and Canada is about 50%. So here, especially last year, there was the committee meeting in China. The aim of the China to increase the scrap usage in the total production, because as you can clearly see that in China is quite lower than the globally the scrap usage percentage. In 2021, the import of iron ore was 1,125 million ton. And Australia and Brazil and South Africa having the first 3 countries that the China import iron ore, which is Australia 61%, Brazil 21%, and South Africa is 3%. And Turkey is ranks with the 1,646,000 ton iron export to China is the ranking 20th countries. So here in 2021, we clearly see that China is having the number of the suppliers is a big option, which is about 60 countries that the China is importing scrap from. And the same scenario also in 2022, from January to March. Also, the first 3 countries, Australia, Brazil, and South Africa, and the Turkey is ranking in 21st countries that exporting iron ore to China. Again, 43 countries is been exporting to China for the iron ore. In coking coal, the picture is different than iron ore, because China is having the only 12 countries as a supplier. The top 3, Mongolia, Russia, and USA, having the 25, 20, and the 18%. And also in 2022, we see that Russia is number 1, and the US and the Mongolia having the percentage of 27, 21, and the 17%. So those are the billets import of China, and also the share of CIS. China imported 9.43 million ton in billets in 2021. And from Jan to March in 2022, China imported about 1.2 million ton of billets. And out of that quantity, 140,000 ton was from CIS countries. So when we look at the slab and the slab import from CIS, we also see that the China imported about 1.5 million ton of the slab in 2021, and in 2022, China is imported about 800,000 from the slab from Russia. In 2022, 800,000 ton slab imported, and out of 800,000 ton, 427,000 ton was from Russia, from CIS. So those are the steel export of China. China exported in 2021 66.9 million ton. A monthly average of the quantity that China exported was 5.8 million ton. In 2022, from January to March, the average monthly export quantity 4.4 million ton. You can see clearly that there is a drop. So for the flat steel export of China, China exported 45.1 million ton of the flat in 2021, and monthly referring is 3.7 million ton export. And in 2022, is about 2.9 million ton flat product is exported from China. And the flat product in China is referring to 65% of total Chinese export. So the biggest portion is flat product from China rather than long product. So for the long product, export of the China, in 2021, China is exported only 7.8 million ton, which is referring about 650,000 ton monthly, and also the average in 2022, also 430,000 ton. Also, we see the drop. This is the hot roll coils production in China. In 2020, it's about 40 million ton monthly production, and the total production of the hot roll coils was about 170 million ton. And in 2021, also roughly the same quantity and production. And also in 2022, from January to May, 20th of May, and the total hot roll coils is produced in China 62.81 million ton, which is monthly 12.5 million ton, which is again less than the average of 2021. So those are the hot roll coil export figures in China. So here, China in 2020 exported 6.65, referring about 550,000 ton monthly. In 2021, we see there's some increase, which is 883,000 ton monthly average. In 2022, in the first 4 months, we've been seeing 740,000 ton, which is also a drop for the hot roll coils. This is the hot roll coils share. In 2020 is the about 12%. In 2021 is about 15%. And also in this year is about 16% of total Chinese export. This is the stock level of the hot roll coils. It's about 3 million ton hot roll coil stock level, and the rebar is about 12 million ton. This is not the higher than average quantity. And this is the transportation, this is the index, freight index in China, which is clearly showing that this general index. So here we see that big drop. So which means that inland transportation in China is getting difficult due to the COVID protections. Also, this is the Shanghai transportations, local transportation, which we also see some drop, which is east part of China. This is north part of China. Also, we see the same graph. And also, this is south of China. Also, we clearly see that there is a drop in the transportation locally. So when we summarize 2022, in January-April period, we have seen that the consumption came down 8.9% in China. And the crude steel production, January to April, we have seen 10.3% drop, which is right now about 336 million ton production. It's about 39 million ton is dropped. In the first 4 months of the year, Chinese total steel export came down by 29%, which is referring about 7 million ton. And the Chinese export of the flat steel, which is the largest item, fell down by 28%, which is 4.65 million ton. And the Chinese total steel import also came down, which is 11.8%, which is referring about 1 million ton. I would like to also talk about a little bit about Indian tax, export taxes. As we all know, especially we have seen the big increase on the iron ore. It was 0, now it's 45. Then for the end product, which is rebar, hot roll, cold roll, we have seen 15% increase, which was 0. But in the other hand, for the billets and the slab export, there is no restriction from India. So which is also give us an idea in here. We see the 50% increase on the product. And also another comment is, as you know, in China, also there was an export ban as well. But the solution was taken by adding some boron and exempted by the export taxes. So here we are also expecting the same thing happens from India as well, because about 1 month later we will be seeing some monsoon raining in India, which will be affecting the local market. So India cannot ignore export. So for coke, anthracite, nickel, the import duty is 0 in order to reduce the producer's costs. So the reason that they have taken this decision, this is how we read, in order to increase the supply in the local market, in order to affect the local market prices, and they also fight with the inflation. So this is the Chinese price level recently, last Friday. And also China was quite active, was selling some flat products to Middle East and to Turkey recently. But since we've been seeing some drop, and China is not active anymore in this region. And I would like to thank you for listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ocakçı. Any questions from the floor for Mr. Ocakçı? There is a gentleman on the back. I cannot see him. Can we have the microphone?
Hi. Thank you for a good presentation, very interesting. Just one question. The profit margins for Chinese mills are now, for hot rolled coil, are now at least being published as negative, but the production is still increasing. Or we can see that the capacity utilization for the last few weeks has gone up. Do you hear or know of any reduction in production in China because of this? And if not, why not? Thank you.
Thank you. Also the numbers are clearly showing that we've been seeing about 10% of the production cut in China. Regarding the profit of the hot roll coils or the flat producer in China, I fully agree with you. This is one of the main topics that the Chinese are facing at the moment about the profit ranges, not only in China. So we start to see that the main problem globally.
Thank you. I think there was another question, right? Let's have one more and move on to the next speaker. No? Okay, my bad. Sorry, I thought there was another question. Thank you very much.